We're having some problems. There we go. Sorry, all that, and you didn't hear any of it because the microphone was not my problem. I did not do that. I turned the microphone on. It was a software issue. It was a software issue. But anyway, what I was saying was a great weekend. Hope you got plans. I'm going to be out. You can't be better than what we're looking for. We're talking about 45, 65 now that you can hear me. And again, what I want to know is what are you doing this weekend? How do you take advantage of great weather? Do you make plans or is it a spontaneous thing? Let me know. I want to see your comments this morning. Again, you can post them up at the bottom of the screen, just like Joanne did. Good morning in Austin. Also, April says, happy Friday, ready for a beautiful weekend. I'm with you there. Olivera, Remedios Olivera. Good morning to you. I took my time, Remedios, trying to make sure I got it right. Marie, good morning. Hey, Mark, there's sound now. I know everybody. Marie says, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Hope you can hear me now. Sharon Cloud, darn that software. It does it every time. Hi, Candy Love. Thank you, David Dix. I think I got it. Mark, did I get it on? Yeah, maybe. Somebody tell me yes. Mike Carew, thank you for pointing it out to me as well. I love it when you make a mistake because everybody wants to help you out. So then you get responses. Look at all of these. They're still coming in this morning. All right. I think we're there though, right? Yeah. Okay. Somebody says yes. We can hear you now. Okay. Glad to be back and doing it. So yeah, again, tell me what you're doing this weekend. I'm just curious. Do you sit around and say, okay, what can we do? Where are we going to go? Or do you just kind of let the day come to you and then you enjoy it the best way you possibly can? Again, comment if you'd like. Also this morning, you can give us a thumbs up, a like. That'd be appreciated as we move along. All right, let's jump right into it. It is, by the way, high school football playoffs are going on. Talk about great. Why is it always, it's not until the playoffs that you get really good football weather in Southeast Texas. Now, if you like it hot, I guess the first games of the year are okay. But, for the players, for the fans, if you want hot chocolate in the stands, you want to take a stadium blanket with you, tonight's the night. There are, again, a lot of teams in playoff action as it's the first week of the playoffs. So pick a game and go enjoy it. Or you can go out to the Lamar game coming up. We're going to talk about that. It's homecoming. But first things first, let's jump into some news headlines for you this morning. And for us to be able to do that, again, I have to play a software trick here. There you go. Top story of the day, USW ExxonMobil War of Words. It's decertification voting is underway today. This is a story to me that has kind of slipped under the radar. You're talking about 650 employees who were represented by the United Steelworkers who have been locked out for 6 months now. 6 months. And they have balloting going on. It's going on now, and it's going to be going on for a long time, apparently. But if the workers were to approve the decertification, of course, it would mean they're not represented by that union any longer. Both sides have been saying a lot, but they have not been able to come any closer to reaching a satisfactory agreement for both sides. Again, 6 months. Now, I did not grow up here, but I got here pretty quick. Out of college. So, we're talking more than 40 years living here. And I can remember my first impression moving here and moving into a heavily industrialized area because I didn't grow up in one. I did not go to college in one. This was kind of a foreign concept to me. All these people working at refineries, working in the plants, working shift work. And to realize that when I first got here, people lived in fear of strikes. They'd be like, oh, we can't do anything because this could be a strike year. Or we can't do anything because I married a woman whose father worked in the industry. And, she would tell stories about when they were kids, how they had to be very miserly, very conservative, because if dad went on strike or if, the plant went out on strike, they would have to, ration groceries, essentially everything to be able to make it. So again, this is going on. I just want you to be aware of it. It's one of those stories that can disappear, but it doesn't mean there aren't people out there dealing with the issue. It just means that it's been going on so long that people aren't talking about it all the time. Also, remember yesterday I was telling you that we're starting to see in some states considerable increase in the number of COVID cases, especially in the northern tier of the country. But you look at our region, that is not true. We are trauma service area R. We've talked about that so many times in the last 23, 24 months. I'm tired of saying it, but this is good news. Look at the hospitalization rate, 2.95. It was not that long ago. We were at better than 30% of our hospitals being filled with COVID-related patients. 2.95, less than 3%. That's pretty amazing. And I got to imagine healthcare workers are, holding their breath, hoping this is something that continues as we head into the winter. 52 lab confirmed patients in the hospital, 38 in general beds. And then we break it on down for you. You look at pediatrics, admissions in the previous 24 hours, 8. I mean, these are really remarkable numbers. I mean, there are still some staggering numbers here when you look at them, when you look at the number of deaths being reported in that area. No, none have been reported in the last 24 hours. But still, the top number is the number, again, that we hope holds, right? Less than 3%. And then maybe we can move on and we can shift our focus elsewhere from the pandemic. Another death this morning. Houston Chronicle this morning reports, this is Aaron Garcia. Astro World death toll raises to 9 with the passing of a 22-year-old Texas A&M student. Now, I'm curious as we talk about this and as you see this morning from the Chronicle, I mean, do you sit at home and go, how can this happen? How is there any way, that in a concert you can have people rush places, the stage, and these giant pits that they create, and they would be trampled to death and nobody know it and nobody stop it? I think, and this is just my guess because I have not been to a Travis Scott show. I have not been to a lot of shows, but in watching some of the coverage yesterday, I don't know if you know Bun B, but he has been around for 40 years as a rapper, and of course, origins in Southeast Texas. And he was talking about the fact that if it comes down to the performer being the one who has to control the crowd, there's a problem. Because the performer many times, and you're saying, well, how can they not know what's going on? When you have the size crowd that they had at this Astroworld concert, there's no way the guy up on the stage who's performing is probably going to be in touch with what's happening in some sections. It wasn't all in one place. But that doesn't excuse what happened. I'm just saying that's their way of explanation by saying these things happen because it's not happening everywhere inside the venue. It's happening in pockets in the venue. And once it happens, because it's happening on the ground, it can go unnoticed by those who are not in that particular part of the venue. Now, some great investigative journalism is going on. I don't know if you've seen any of the stories, but they have been looking into the security firms who were hired to manage the crowd, and they're finding out that the ones who are documented, who are put in place, the names are not licensed in the state of Texas. That can be problematic because they don't know the laws. They don't know what's going on. They don't know. So we'll see what comes out of this. But again, if you want to read more, good article in the Chronicle there by Ariana Garcia concerning the casualties. And again, now you're talking about 9 because we've added a 22-year-old Texas A&M student who died as a result. All right, a little bit of a lighter note this morning as we start working our way into the weekend. Wanted to talk about the fact that Lamar University is having their homecoming, And it's a good weekend for it. You can't deny that. They have a lot of different events that are going on. You can get your red on, support the hometown university. They have football games. They have a women's basketball game. I will be at the women's basketball game. For folks who don't know, I do the play-by-play. I'm very fortunate to get an opportunity to do that for men and women's basketball for ESPN3 and Lamar University. So I will be at the game tonight. So I know there's a game. Women's basketball tonight. Howard Payne University will be coming into the Montaigne Center. There's also a fan fest. There's a car show. There is football tomorrow. If you want to get out, Saturday, 4 o'clock, Provost Humphrey, Lamar taking on Jacksonville State. So you can get out and enjoy some of the weather that way. All right. And speaking of football, to wrap things up this morning, I always try to end on a positive note. Great story. This is Texas Monthly. Joe Levine has written a story about Todd Dodge. Todd Dodge. Now, a lot of people will go, Todd Dodge, that name rings a Dodge and Duhan. If you go back to the early 80s, I guess late 70s, early 80s. I will tell you, it was one of the first teams I covered when I moved to Southeast Texas was Thomas Jefferson High School at the time, and was fortunate to watch these guys play, Dodge and Duhan, and covered them, talked to them on a regular basis, watched them over the course of their career. Of course, Todd goes on to the University of Texas. From the University of Texas, he goes into coaching, becomes very successful on the high school level, goes off to North Texas, is not very successful there, but returns to high school football, and his mojo is still working. Great article, and just read it says it all. Westlake High School football coach Todd Dodge might be the best who ever did it. Why would they say that? Well, here's a man who already has 6 state championships at the highest levels of high school football and could be working his way towards another. Yes, he is a much older man, but I still see in that face the Todd Dodge, who was a high schooler who played here in Southeast Texas so successfully. But there you can see him on the Westlake. He is in Austin now. He was at South Lake, right, for a long time. And I guess Westlake, and then there's South Lake Carroll. And his son is now the head coach at South Lake Carroll, where he was previously. You might remember they matched up and played off against last year in the playoffs. Anyway, great article. If you got time, if you like football, even if you're not a football fan and you just like to watch the success of people from Southeast Texas, there's a great story right there. Todd Dodge. Go read it. Enjoy it. And again, great weekend to get out and do something. I hope you've got plans made. If not, make some now, and we will come back at it, going hard and steady, I hope, on Monday morning in between here and there. I'm going to do the same thing you are. Got big plans. Going to be out the basketball game tonight, as I said, for the women. Then I will be tomorrow enjoying some Lamar women's tennis. They're having their annual fundraiser, and I'm always excited to be invited. I will not be playing, but I will be there and be part of the event for sure. And of course, a host of other activities. So whatever you got going, remember, you can always stay up with what's happening in the headlines across Southeast Texas, a variety of ways. KFDM.com, Fox4Beaumont.com, 2 good places to start. You can also follow up Facebook, KFDM News, and of course, my Twitter handle, Morning TV Dan, or you can also watch our updates. If you're not a big Facebook fan, you can always watch on Dan's at Home on YouTube, and you can subscribe there. And if you sign up for notifications, we'll let you know every time we're doing an update. Again, appreciate your time. Hope you'll make it a great weekend. Look forward to talking to you again soon.